Salute, Nick family. No intro today. We coming in live and we coming in hot. This is the call-in show. I hope you guys are ready. There's a lot of interaction during the chat, during the Just Nicking It weekly show. When I'm listening to other chats, or shows, I should say, I see a lot of interaction in the chat. Now is your opportunity to call in. Matter of fact, I'm also, Jarrell, can you drop the link? I don't know if you'll be able to pin it, but if you can drop it a few times in the chat. So if you don't want to call in, we're dropping the link so that you can hop onto the show for like 2 or 3 minutes to give your take. If you're not comfortable on the camera, you can leave your camera off and hop in, and then we'll just hear you audio. And I'm not pushing back. I think that this show, yeah, because you guys know I like to push back.
Right.
Not pushing back today. This show came out of, shout out to the, all right, come on, Stapha. We live, you coming in coughing.
Sorry. I thought you would have just had me in the backstage for a second, but you just brought me right in.
That's right. So this show, the idea for this show came out of a comment I got off of one of the videos. And shout out to the replay gang. It may take me some time to get to the comments, but I usually get to them. So this guy, I believe it was a guy, was really respectful. He says, sis, I just want to point this out to you. You know, somebody on the show will give their take. You've already given yours. They give their take. You come right back with your take. And
you've already given yours.
Stapha, you gotta take your.
You come.
Look, Stapha just mad discombobulated today. What's going on?
I'm good.
He said, and then you come right back with your take as if you don't agree with what they're saying. You already gave your take already, and you do that a lot. I'm just pointing it out, sis. He was real respectful. So I said, you know what? I could get like that. I mean, if you guys remember the last show, Stapha Don didn't want Brunson to get the full max. I don't know what's going on with him, but he didn't want him to get the full max. And I kept coming back with he need the full max. You know, I'm not letting up. He not letting up. Anyway, it's all love. I have a lot of respect for the panelists. That's just part of my personality. Sometimes I gotta like hammer it home over and over and over. So if that's happening, guys on the panel, just give me a heads up, and I might let up a little bit. But anyway, so I said for this show, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take some controversial topics. Julius Randle. We're gonna do RJ Barrett. We're gonna do Mitch. We're gonna do Tom Thibodeau. We're gonna do some controversial topics as well. And you guys can put in the chat some other controversial topics, but I think staying pat as opposed to taking a little bit of risk is a controversial, topic as well, or in the sense that the fan base is kind of split on that. Anyway, this is the dog days of content creation until the training camp. So we're going to have a lot of fun. Down in the description, part of this series, I call it the fan-based series. Down in the chat is the 2 audio podcasts that I did. One with Stapha Don, who's a Randle supporter, and one with Anthony D, who's not so much a Randle supporter. However, he surprised me on this audio podcast. I thought he was super fair. I was expecting a lot of smoke, and there really wasn't any. But
it was a proof.
Right. Check that out. The newsletter also. Subscribe to the newsletter. That's coming out every week. And I gave my take. I gave my take on Randle. And if we have enough time, I'll talk a little bit about it here. But I'm just going to go around the panel really quick. I don't know who got a chance to read the newsletter, my takes, or listen to the audio podcast. If you didn't, that's totally fine. You could just give your take on Julius Randle. It might have changed over time. And I'm here just to listen and understand. That's it. It's not going to be a lot of pushback from me tonight. I'm just going to try to keep my facial expressions down and neutral and listen to what the panel and the fan base has to say. Let me put this number up. But you guys can just go around and just talk about your thoughts on Julius Randle. And I thank you in the chat. Somebody in the chat says, Steph, it's your show. You rock however you want to rock. I know. I know. but it just gave me an idea for the show.
Right. And I actually you told me to put the link
Yes.
in the chat. I put the link in the chat. So anybody can join us tonight.
Yep.
I guess I'll start off by Julius Randle. Nothing has really changed for me. We just pretty much just want Julius Randle to step up in the playoffs going forward. We already know what he can do in the regular season. We already know he's capable of being an all-star, all NBA type of player. So for me, it's just playoff stuff, and we can't really fully evaluate him going forward until we make the playoffs again, which I do have 100% confidence that we will next year. So, like, my thoughts on Julius Randle is on hold for right now, just because it's all playoff driven. That's all.
That's a good point. And I think that was one of the things that Anthony D said. And I was super surprised when he said he's given him, I don't know if he used the word pass, but the cracked ankle, as he called it, was a factor and that he had to be fair. I was surprised at that. Anybody else?
Yeah, I was kind of surprised he was kind of passive, if that's the word I should say. He didn't really go in like I was thinking that he would have went in on Randle, but I mean, I think it's everybody expectations, man. We know who Julius Randle is, regular season Randle, but the thing is about it is when the playoff come around, that's what we expected. That's what we expect to see playoff Randle. You know, we want to see him. You know, we say partial, it was the ankle. Partial, yes, he was. Sometimes he could be disengaged. You know, probably the ankle was bothering him or whatever may be the case. The Atlanta series, first time, you know, even though he's our star, you know, he could have still played a little better. You know, you know, Anthony D brought up that point in his explanation, the Atlanta series, that, you know, he couldn't come out at a double team. You know, he was confused. He was throwing with the ball, the turnovers, but, you know, he has improved on his turnovers. So I think that's everybody's expectations of him, is just to be better in the playoffs, man. We want to see that Randle. So I think a lot of us, you know, gonna hold off on kind of criticizing him until we see when he's fully healthy and a complete roster, so there's no excuses, you know, for him at all. So I think that's what it is.
I also think that, you know, it's one thing to criticize Randle, and I think most of the criticism of Randle is extremely fair. And I actually thought Anthony D was extremely fair in his, well, in both ways. I want to give Stapha Don credit too, because as a Randle fan, I thought he was balanced, a little bit more balanced in his take than I was expecting also. So I think both of you really did a great job about expressing that. But to me, I think what I want to see from Randle is just be Randle. I mean, the other thing is, you know, I think there's this idea out there among some in the fan base that just ship him off for a bag of peanuts and we're going to be fine. But you don't just replace that level of production very easily. And now, does he need to bring it in the playoffs? Absolutely. But I mean, 25, 10, and 5 power forwards don't grow on trees. I mean, you know, so he's got gravity. He's got a lot of things going for him from that aspect. And so to me, I just think you got to be real careful as you know, if you're taking Randle out of the equation, you need to be bringing something to the equation that is pretty good. I mean, all NBA twice now, you got to be bringing something to the table that's pretty good if you're going to move on from it.
No doubt, no doubt. So shout out to AJ, shout out to Delusional Knick fan, shout out to Anthony D. I'm gonna give you, AJ, you gotta go last. You're a resident paneler, I guess.
It's all good. It's all good.
Delusional, I don't know if I would consider him a guest. But anyway, I know he got something big coming up tomorrow, so he doesn't have a lot of time. Delusional, take the floor, then Anthony D. those who didn't get an opportunity, the link is in the description. The podcast I did with Anthony D, and he gave us a little bit of everything. He snuck some other stuff in there besides Randle, so check it out. Delusional Knick fan, talk to me. No pushback. So this is your opportunity to get all on Julius Randle. No pushback.
Well, I might have to surprise you on this show, on this one though, Queen. But shout out to you, Queen. Thank you for having me on the show. Amazing analysts that we have here. The panel's phenomenal. The chat, keep it going. Get those likes up. It's always good to be back. I've definitely been busy, but Julius kind of grown on me during these times period. As much as I want to throw him under the bus, and maybe the trade of Obi Toppin has made me settle down and say, hey, we don't really have anybody to kind of come in and kind of take over that role. But like you stated, two-time All NBA, you know, putting up 24 and 10 and 4 or 5. Those are legit numbers. Those are top tier numbers. Yes, his certain style of play from the beginning was horrendous. Oh man, like you said, the turnovers, the spinning, too much dribble. And then of course the outbursts, you know, fighting against assistant coaches, lashing out with certain things of that nature. But I figure now I could tolerate it, I guess. Like, you know, we can tolerate those situations as long as he continue to be an all NBA player. Him and Brunson mesh well. I would love for him to kind of drive the basket a little bit more, and also be a facilitator instead of jacking all those threes. But this is what Tibbs allow, you know. So he's only going to play a certain style the way Tibbs allow him to play, and give him that freedom. So my take is on Jules is we're gonna let that contract ride out. I just don't know about giving him that ultra max, that the $220 million, because he is an All NBA player. So that's that next contract. We got to see what happens. But as of right now, I'm a ride it till the wheels fall off.
What do you think? And I asked Anthony D this question. Do you think he has room to grow playoff wise, or do you feel like basically who he is right now is basically who he's going to be?
So I'm gonna tell you, this is where he has the ability to grow. When he was on the Paul George podcast P, he stated that he just started watching film. So that tells me, I'm like, bro, I was in high school watching film to better myself. Like, what? This is how everything becomes natural. You know what positions to be, you know how to defend, or you know how to counter everything. So that IQ is taking that to the next level with him understanding the film, understanding how each team or player operate their tendencies for him to take advantage of. So he can take it to the next level by exploiting that, doing research, reading, and watching film. So, and that will definitely translate into the playoffs because everybody knows your move.
Right.
Everybody knows what you're going to do. So if you are able to understand that, okay, they're going to force me here, let me kind of do the opposite, or let me work on my strengths on what they're going to try to force me to do. And that's what I think Julius can possibly take it to the next level. Now, how much footage is he going to watch? How much film he's going to watch? That's determined up to Julius, but
right,
we'll see.
And also learning how to watch film so that in the playoffs, you can watch film from game to game and see what they're doing and figure something out. And I'm sure you have the coaching staff to help you as well. But that's a very good point. So basically what I'm hearing you saying is his next step may not be talent wise. No. His next step is IQ wise. Okay. All
100%.
Right. All right. Appreciate you, Delusional.
No, I appreciate y'all. I got to go.
All righty.
Yeah, man.
Anthony D.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
Listen, stop coming on with the smooth, quiet storm.
That's why they call him Anthony D with no chaser.
How y'all doing?
We good.
I didn't even know y'all was on. Salute to the panel. I'm a fan of you guys. I'm a fan of all the podcasts and so forth, but I'm a fan of y'all. I watch y'all all the time. I didn't know y'all were having a call-in about the Julius Randle little soiree that we had there. Was it last night? Last night, yeah, last night. But I hope, if for nothing else, I haven't heard the whole show or most of what you guys been talking about. I would hope that the the feeling is that I was fair to Randle.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know,
I
that-
thought you held back a little bit, quite honestly.
Yeah, and I was surprised also too, Anthony. For real, for real. I was surprised.
Well, you know, as my grandmother used to say, you have to give weight and take weight. And Randle hurt his leg in this playoffs. You know, how much only he knows, but the man did have surgery. That is a factor. You know, if we were talking about just Atlanta, you see, we got sometimes as fans, we don't know how to separate things. You know, Atlanta was when he was healthy. This playoffs, he wasn't. You know, I could, like I said before, I can't hold him to standards to the gods because they performed under the levels, because I don't see him that way. I can only look at him in how I see him amongst his contemporaries of the day.
Could I say something real quick, Queen?
Yeah, go ahead.
The criteria, I think what I was looking for in you, Anthony, was no, I'm not saying necessarily you, but the person that would have been opposing what I said was a person that says, well, all right, I don't want him on this team. He's a cancer. He has empty stats. I don't care if he was a 2-time NBA All-Star or not. He's just don't fits this team, and just a person that doesn't like the person at all. And I think you being fair was kind of surprising. And that's the criteria, I think, in my mind, that I was looking for that person to say about Randle. And I think, go ahead.
Well, Queen wanted to have a good show. If she wanted the delusional, she'd have picked somebody from out the chat to come have 5 minutes and rant, and then the show would have been over. The criteria was to have good debate, good conversation, not to come with the outrageous. Who can look at?
Well, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say, Anthony, that's outrageous.
No, but that's the outrageous, because you can't look at Julius Randle's game or look at Julius Randle, the ball player, a 2-time All NBA, and call him a bum.
Bro, it has NBA, not NBA. It has fans that feels like that, bro.
And that's the delusional. And that's why she didn't pluck one of them out of the chat to come say 5 minutes of that nonsense. That's not going to make for a good show. That we see that all day, all long. That's not being fair to Randle. You know, I may not think he's a championship ball player, but he's far from garbage. He's not a bum. He's a bum on certain nights when I want him to get it done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll call him a bum then. But that's two different things. That's just a small fragment of the entire puzzle.
Like when you text me and said, I want this guy off the team. I think that might have been was that after the whole Quickly thing?
Oh, dear God. Oh,
I think it was after the whole
I thought I was gonna lead a one-man revolt. Oh my God.
He said, Stephanie, I'm ashamed of you. You still want this guy on the team? I'm like,
yeah, I'm ashamed of you. It's crazy.
I was like, all right, Anthony, I'm gonna let you slide. You all up in your feelings right now.
I was, but that's a Knick fan. That's a Knick fan. I mean, there's moments that we're gonna be in our feelings, and we're entitled to that.
No doubt.
True.
We should never apologize for being, even for people who are delusional and deranged or whatever. You know what? You paid for that. There hasn't been a lot of success around here.
Yeah.
Right. I remember real quick in the beginning of the season. I don't know if anybody remember how IQ played in like the first 3 games. I was ready to ship him to the G League.
3 games.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like that first week, IQ was.
Yeah,
That's true. But I'm talking about like he didn't even seem like he was interested in playing basketball or the way that he should be playing basketball. So yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah. No doubt about it. You know what's interesting? And it's not just Anthony D. This happened with State State be all, and shout out to State. I've met him a few times. He's just a really cool dude. And when you meet him, the positive energy just pops off of him. But you would not know that reading his tweets, right?
Two different people.
And I had him on the Queen's Court as well. A very intelligent guy who's able to back up his opinion. So I say all of that to say I'm learning that sometimes fans do get emotional on Twitter and in the chat when the Knicks are losing, when things aren't going right. But once they calm down and you're able to have a discussion with them, for the most part, I found, them to be fair. Because I got to tell you, Anthony D, I was like, oh man, I was like, all right. I mean, my role is just to understand. I was really expecting it.
I mean, we once we get out of our, we're never going to get out of our feelings. So let me say that. Let me not even pretend. We're never going to get out of our feelings.
Right.
But like who here on this panel hasn't rewatched Game 6 highlights against Miami? Of course you have.
Yeah.
Because that's the knife that we want to keep sticking into the wound to see where things could have gone differently. That's what we are as fans.
Right.
That's all it is, and we just want better. Did you ever think that Milwaukee would win another championship before the Knicks?
Right. Well, once they got Giannis, yeah.
How the hell did Sacramento get this good?
Right.
When did that happen? They were in confusion 2 years ago.
So were we. 2 or 3 years ago. Manchild, can you call into the show, or the link is taped to the top of the chat? I'm not sold on Randle. I'd love to hear your point. Like I said, no pushback tonight from me. I just want to hear what you guys have to say, why you're not sold on him. And if you do use the link to come on, you don't have to have your camera on if you don't want. Like Anthony D, like Stapha, you could just come on audio only. But I want to hear from the fans. Sherwin, I want to hear from you. Paris Duggar, who's not in the house. I need you to get in the house so I can hear from you. Who else?
JJ. Always good to
JJ.
hear JJ.
Keith Turner. Keith Turner, I believe, is a Randle, a Randle fan. So definitely come in. I would like to hear from you. Delusional Knick fan, I appreciate you. Was just on the panel. Why he keeps saying delusional? LOL, JK. Best show out. I know when he said that, a delusion trying to say I'm delusional, but I don't know if I'm that delusional. So I go back and forth on Randle, depending on who I'm talking to. Like you can convince me. I don't think you can convince me that we need to trade him. Like you can't convince me that. But you can convince me, Steph, this guy ain't gonna never be a number 1 or a number 2. Just save it. It's never gonna happen. And I'll be like, maybe they right. And then you could come on and be like, yo, he's only played 15 playoff games. It's still possible that he can improve in the playoffs and become that guy. So I could go either way in that regard. But Quiet Money, I would like to come on too. Because one of the things I don't understand for those who support Randle is the ones who can't see any negatives. Like, all right, so what? He punched the coach in the mouth. So what? Why y'all paying attention to stuff like that? Keep it on the basketball court. Or every time he gets the ball in crunch time, he just basically throws it in the third row, right? There's times you be like, yo, what just happened? Oh, everybody makes mistakes. So I would like those Knick fans who don't see anything negative with Julius Randle, please hop on the show. And another who else I want to and I know there's some out there I want to hear from is those who still believe. And again, no pushback. I just want to understand those who still believe Julius Randle is the best player, not the most talented, but who still believe, and it could be somebody on this panel. I would love to hear your opinion. Julius Randle is the best player on this team.
No, he's not.
No,
Let me answer it quick.
I
Let me throw it out there. Let me throw it out there quick. No, he's not. No, he's not.
To come on, and so I can understand.
No, he's not. The best player is 5'11" tall on a good day. Okay, that's the best player on the team.
C-Mac,
Yeah.
come on the show. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. Would love to have you come on and talk about your thoughts on Julius Randle and why you feel like he'll never be more than he is. All right, I got a call coming in. Let's see.
Nice.
Call from Quiet Money.
Oh,
Nice.
Oh, that was Quiet Money.
get this right. Quiet Money, can you please call back? Please call back, Quiet Money. Did y'all heard it?
Yeah, we heard him.
Oh, okay. Quiet Money, can you please call back?
You bang.
Yeah, we also like Geraldine calling too. We want to hear a female we want to hear a female perspective also too. She could call in also too.
And
The B-baller for reals and the fly gods, the Kerry Cox.
I'm calling him back. Can you guys hear it?
yes,
Yeah, it's ringing.
Got it.
Hey,
Quiet Money, sorry about that. Can you hear us?
I hear you.
All right. So yeah, I'm interested. Welcome to the show. Tell everybody,
Salute.
tell everybody where you from, and then get right into your point.
All right, Quiet Money. Y'all know me with that. But I'm definitely a Randle supporter, right? And despite all the hate, all the nonsense going on, it's not even a question in my mind. He's the best player on the team. It's not a question. It's not a question. When you see it's only one player on the team that's the old NBA on the old star, and he's put in, he's giving his own. Like I don't understand. I never understood the placement. I mean, I get fans having an issue with his attitude and his demeanor, his body language. But at the end of the day, I know he's an Iron Man. Comes to play at least 85 to 87% of the time. You know what I'm saying? But who's perfect? Nobody's perfect. And another thing with him is that he wasn't always as good as he is. He's the classic example of a player that has untapped talent, that's actually putting in the work to get better, and he's doing it. Like, I can't think of one NBA player that has achieved what he did after his seventh year in the league. I can't think of not one, but he did that. And not only did he do that, he had a bad year, and then you rightfully so, like the fans, I don't get it. He gave him a thumbs down, but the fans hit us. Call from.
Sorry about that.
Me at the game, like, come on, man. Like, I feel why you expect that he's human. But I understand the fans got expectations. I'm saying they want to see a winning product, but I want everybody to not forget the fact that when we wanted superstars, nobody came. So everybody turned us down. And we were the laughing stock of the league. Please remember, please do not forget, before Randle and Tim, the men that y'all fighting so bad, before they came, we were a laughing stock. And it's not even funny. Like every time it was impossible. It was Knicks. That's where the Knicks started. Because he was so trash. He was bad. You know what I mean? So, I'm definitely a Randle supporter. And I do think there's room for growth. I do think he'll have a better season this season coming. Now, the first time in the playoffs, okay, it was his first time. But if you look at that team, they had no business there. They had no business there. It was like catching lightning in the bottle. But they didn't have no business there. That team was not that good. It was devoid of talent. That was what you always heard. The Knicks are devoid of talent. They need a star. They need a superstar. But, they band together, and Randle is my honor. And it made the point. You know what I mean? Now, granted, when it got there, it was the first time there, and it just looked a little shell-shocked. But, I mean, this is the same person, this is the same player that has never had a lead role his entire career. And he was on the Lakers, he never really had a lead role. And when he went to the Pelicans, he showed up in a league role there for 3 years. So this is when he came to the Knicks, he signed that contract, and it wasn't a crazy contract. It was reasonable for a player of his age at his age with upside. It was reasonable, but it was his first time, and he still had to improve on his game.
Right.
And he got better. So I don't really have no. I mean, I don't like his attitude and stuff like that sometimes. Like, I think he shouldn't do that, but I can't put myself in his shoes. Like, I don't know how I would respond if I was Randle and the fans are heckling me, cursing at me, wishing I get into an accident, all types of nonsense. So I can't speak for that. But I think the whole thumbs down thing is overblown.
Right. I appreciate you. We got somebody calling in, and I haven't figured out how to put it on hold. Appreciate you, Quiet Money.
Thanks, Quiet Money. Great call.
Thanks for calling.
Salute, Q.
Call from
Kerry Cox.
Kerry Cox.
Yeah.
Oh, Kerry Cox, call back in. You were on the air. Somebody write down. I want to discuss, and we'll ask. Maybe somebody will come on. I still don't get why people are thinking. I still don't understand. The Randle is the best player on the team. I want to know what the criteria is. What are people basing it on? No pushback from me. No pushback. I just want to understand those who think Randle is the best player on the team. Why? Kerry Cox, let me see. Maybe I can get Kerry Cox back. All right. Let's see. It's kind of loud. All right.
Yeah, he'll call back.
He'll call back. Anybody wanna weigh in on that? Why you think Randle may be the better player, if you think, or why you think Brunson may be the better player? Until we get another call or somebody else who wants to hop on the panel.
I think he's the more talented physical player, but the best player, I'll still have to give it to Brunson, just because of Randle's decision making in the fourth quarter. And I support my guy 30, but when it comes to those particular situations, he's like 40-60 with me. You know what I mean? So go ahead.
Call from.
It's Kerry.
All right, you're on the air, Kerry Cox.
Press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hold on. Let me see if I can get this right. Kerry Cox, are you on?
Yes, finally. Hey, what's up, y'all?
We good.
What's good? What's good? What's good?
Right, what's going on to the panel? And hopefully everybody's doing fine.
Salute.
Definitely. What you got for us today?
All right, hold on. I got some feedback.
All right.
Yeah, I tried to call him 5 times.
Sorry about that.
But it's all good. It's all good. Listen, Randle, like I tried to state in the post, is the best power forward the New York Knicks has ever had. Take it or leave it, but you can't name a better power forward than Randle, even with his attitude. It was really bad last year, but he seems to have straightened it up. He's not a number one. He is a questionable number 2, but he's a viable piece that you need to win. We need a third person to offset him. They scout him. They plan for him. We need, and I'm going to name him, we need RJ to step up. If he can't step up, you trade him for somebody who can step up. Plain and simple. We need another person that can produce something close to what Randle can produce. Otherwise, who do you trade him for? Are you going to get back equal value? No, you're not. You're not. You can't even trade him straight up for Zion, who hasn't played but what, 200 games in his career?
200?
You can't.
Not even.
Zion, you can't even trade him for Zion.
Right.
Because people are scared. Front office and coaches don't want to deal with his pushback, but Thibodeau can.
Right.
You got to give it some respect. And Randle plays his heart out. Randle plays his heart out. Right or wrong, he plays it out. He tries to do his best. It ain't always the best, but he tries. I see the effort. I don't like the negative attitude, but yeah, he tries. So I don't know what else you can do. I really don't.
Right. Right. Well, thank you, Kerry Cox, for calling in. Did you ever get that sweatshirt?
Oh, I got it. I've been rocking it. Matter of fact,
Oh, okay.
I lost it about 3 weeks ago because my sister seen it and took it.
What?
Yeah, I only wore it once. Yeah, my older sister took it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I had it up on the hanger on my rack, and she took it. She like, nah, this is me.
That's funny.
She just devoted your thing.
Okay. I appreciate you, Kerry Cox.
Salute.
All right. Thank you all. Y'all have a good night.
You too.
You too, man.
Word.
Yeah,
I want to highlight some of these questions, and again, no pushback for me, though. Some of these get me a little tight, but no pushback tonight. That's the we got another one.
Call from
Donald DiMichelli.
All right. Hello, you on the air. What's your name and where you're from?
DiMichelli.
Donald DiMichelli, Long Island, New York.
Welcome to the show.
63-year-old Knicks fan.
Salute.
Thank you. Happy to be here. I really enjoy your panel. Sorry about trash talking the one guy, but pretty good too, I guess. 63-year-old Knicks fan. I want to agree with so much of what the previous caller just said about Randle. The guy is inarguably the most productive power forward we've ever had. I go back to Dave the Pusher, all right? Clyde Frazier's my first sports hero. I got to say, I'm really excited about the team. I haven't been as excited probably since the Ewing days or, maybe 73. The depth of this team is like 73. When you had guys like Dick Barnett, like on the bench, where's IQ coming off the bench, or is he going to start instead of Grimes? Who knows? But Randle, and we're not in the playoffs without Randle. We're a playing team without him. Brunson's the head of the snake, and I can't say enough good things about Randle. In his defense, anybody's detractors watch like Paul George's podcast. He's like a really good guy. Does really good things in the community. Great, parent. The guy grew up with a single parent, just his mom. He's a great guy, and we should be so happy he's on our team, and he came here when nobody else would. So, the stupid trade about I'm talking about trade for Zion Williamson. You know what? I probably would stop being a Knicks fan if that ever happened. All right.
Yeah.
I can't say. I mean, the guy played at Marshawn Lynch beast mode all season, so he tore up his ankle. And to say he doesn't show up in the playoffs is that's just ignorant comments people make, because we're not in the playoffs without Randle 2 years ago. He's the whole team. So he's triple teamed pretty much every possession, right? At least double. But then he was triple teamed. Now, if you don't double team him, he's a bully in the paint, like Melo was. You know, when he's really got a bag of tricks like Melo had. And now he's got a body like Giannis or any Greek statue. The guy works his heart off. The whole team does. They're all bought in Tibbs guys. We're a badass team. I mean, people fail to realize, like, without the 3 ankle injuries, the Brunson and Randle and IQ being out for half the Miami series, we're spanking Miami. We beat them 4 of the last 6. We had them. We owned them. You know, Boston, we beat them 3 out of 4 times. We own them too. You know, like Vegas says we're going to win 43 games. I'm not a betting man. I'm betting on that. I'll tell you what.
Right.
I think we should be so optimistic, and you know, I'm looking forward to RJ playing the 4th spot. You know, I would have liked to have gotten Melo for insurance, to tell you the truth. I think it's a smart move for a $4 million bet minimum, 10 minutes. But RJ is better suited there defensively because he's not quick enough for threes. He's just not. And one factor that I think we all got to look forward to is, you know, Randle had to take a lot of threes last year because RJ was missing them 28, shot 31%. You know. RJ was, you know, 31%. I think 28 was 32. All right, Randle was 34. Look at the guys who got shooting threes. Brunson's shooting 41. He's going to take more. IQ is 38. Grimes 38.5. And now this guy Dante 40. Who's going to take all the Obi who shot 34% threes? Do the math on this stat. It's 3.5 to 4 points more game when you factor in 39% shooters versus 35.5 last year.
Right.
If we shoot the same amount of threes, that alone is a 3.5% stat. And RJ ain't gonna have another year like he had last year. Just want to say, you know, how Brunson and Randle responded to the season trash. Now it's RJ's turn to like in your face shit for that. Sorry about the language. Yeah, I expect RJ to really show up this year. Doesn't need to take the threes, just attack the rim, finish. You know, you press him so much. His defense, he had to adjust to becoming the 3rd option. Nobody else had an adjustment like that. You know, he was like the de facto primary option, really, when you think about it. You know, with the ball, but you know, Brunson made all the difference in the world. I always said, this guy gets a point guard, he's going to be a scary human being, and now he is. He's a Randle. Yeah. So, my opinion, I wish people would watch that Paul George podcast. He got 9 sacks last year. Draymond Green got 16. And like other guys in the league, like LeBron, you ever see like Randle flop? Randle doesn't flop. And these guys that say, oh, he's a nutcase. These guys like Latrell Sprewell, Anthony Mason, you know, I could go down the list. Zach Randolph. These guys weren't Boy Scouts. These guys got in referees' faces. Right. I mean, and only this guy throws it down like Sprewell, angry, you know?
Right.
He, like the guy said, he plays with passion, and you know, guys that do that is great, but it gets the best of him. He'll tell you that, you know, and he's worked on it, right. And you know, super grateful we have him. I'm expecting if RJ steps up to that factor I pointed out with the threes, 57 wins this year.
Wow.
2nd seed, and I'm not afraid of Denver because we beat them twice last year. So, anybody talking about how we beat them twice last year?
Some people have mentioned. Well, thank you so much for calling into the show. We definitely appreciate you. 57 wins, seeded second in the Eastern Conference. Lofty goals for the Knicks.
Sign me up.
No, I got us going to the final. I got us going to the finals and giving Denver a run for their money.
Okay, all right. We shall see. Thank you. Appreciate you.
What's your name? What's your name before you go?
Oh, I forgot.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
His name is Donald. Salute to Donald.
Donald. Okay.
Salute to Donald.
Salute to Donald. I'll be definitely writing that down. Trust me.
But those
Donald likes RJ at the 4. Do we realize that RJ's first game was at the 1? So he went from the 1 to the 2, from the 2 to the 3, now from the 3 to the 4. The next stop, out the door.
He's making a beat.
Let me just say, for those who are calling in, if somebody is on the phone, if you can wait for them to hang up and then call in, because I don't got the whole feature. Let me just give the shout out: Paris Duggar, Bob McAdoo, Carmelo Anthony, Dave the Butcher. I don't think Carmelo Anthony was a 4, so he played there. Atmosphere Audio, appreciate the super chat. Paris, you take Quiet Money's bet yet.
His best offensive years was at the 4.
Yeah, but
His best offensive years.
he came in as a 3 though.
Yeah, but his best offensive years was at the 4.
Okay. All right. Let's get back to the question of the best play. Like, this is something I'm cramming to understand, but this is what Quiet Money had to say, and then we can comment. Is Brunson is the best? How come Brunson wasn't an All NBA or All Star?
That is subjective. That right there. Come on.
Let me get a few more. Let me get a few more in. R.D. Lake Cruz.
That one there, Robin, the wrong way.
R.D. Lake Cruz. Ready. Let me just get these few in. Randle is our best player. Brunson needs to get 8 or 9 assists for me to give it to him. And then one more. Brunson is the most exciting player to watch, but the coaches around the league know what type of fits Randle gives them. I don't get it, but let's talk about it on the panel. Anthony D.
Wow.
I'll never pay attention. I said it last year. I'll never pay attention to the All-Star voting ever again. Ever again. That Brunson was not an All-Star last year was a travesty. Absolute travesty. You can I don't care how you shake it up and down. If you look at Brunson's numbers from that mid-December, from when he shook up the lineup till what? The first week of February, on fire. On fire. All those games, there was only one guard that I could remember outside of Luka's 60 was when him and Kyrie dueled it out. And Kyrie dropped a couple of J's to win it at the end. Brunson was absolutely on fire. For him not to be an All-Star was a travesty. I'll never pay attention to the All-Star voting ever again.
Yeah, to his credit, Jalen Brunson won Player of the Month that month, I think.
Yeah, he had like 7 30-point games or something like that in a row or something like that.
And I
think he was sick. Yeah, he was going nuts.
He was Player of the Month in February, and I think he came in second to Embiid in January. So it was like 2 months straight that he was averaging almost 30, I think. So
yeah,
him an All-Star.
Yeah, him and Randle was cooking those months.
I mean, I'll say the All-Star and the All-NBA are regular season awards, and those are awards that are voted on. If you want to say, and this is just my opinion, I'm not pushing back on anybody else. We all have our opinions. If you want to say Randle is the most talented player on the team, I'm not going to argue that. But when I talk about the best player, to me, it's beyond stats. I thought both of those guys played at a high level in the regular season. Before we even got to the playoffs, I thought Brunson was the best player because for me, what separates Brunson from Randle is his efficiency, his decision-making, his low turnovers, and his ability to come through in the clutch. He was like top five in the clutch. Then so that was just on the regular season. I don't care about who's voting for All-Star. I don't care about the All NBA. I'm just with my own eyes. Then you get into the playoffs. You playing against Miami. You have hardly any help in that series. And RJ, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying no help, but hardly any help. You got one of the best, if not the best coach in the entire league game planning for you.
Especially when it comes to defense too.
Right. The defense was targeted to you. You had no ball handling help. It was like high school. He's bringing the ball down himself with nobody to pass. And you still dropping 38, 39, 40 points.
41 in your eye.
For me, when you're the best player, you show up when the lights are the brightest. When you talk about Randle being the best player, I think people are focusing on his skill set. People are focusing on, and I'm not taking anything away from him because he's at the top of the food chain, the top of the scouting report as well. And he's still putting up 25 and 10. I'm not taking anything away from him. But what I am saying is that Brunson has separated himself. Both of them play at a high level. But in my opinion, Brunson has separated himself so many ways in the regular season And then in the playoffs, he just took it to another level. So I get why people think Randle is the best player. I'm not arguing with you, but you will never, ever, ever be able to convince me of that, ever.
No, never.
Just because of the clutch factor, man. And that's a big, that's a big.
And the decision
factor.
and the efficiency. And, you know, he just, both of them are really, really good. I just think Brunson separated himself a bit.
Yep. I have to agree.
I don't think that you can put his low assist totals against him because we don't shoot the ball particularly well. And in order to get an assist, someone's got to make the basket.
Somebody's got to make a basket.
If you're passing the ball to RJ Barrett, good luck. You know.
Yeah, and I told Queen that too. If our stars, our Randles and our Brunson had consistent shooters on the wing, I totally in my heart believe you would have flew past Miami like breeze. You know, if these guys were consistent, and that's what make, you know, your superstars look good, the players that complement them, and you know, some of them didn't show up. So you know, although Bronson showed out, it's still, you know, people say he should have passed the ball to Hart, but you know, they wasn't making shots, so you can't really blame him for not passing the ball. You know, so I mean,
Hart was out of position too. Hart was not in a real good position to get the ball.
He could make that pass though. I do think Hart should have rotated to the wing instead of staying at the top of the key.
Well, no, but he actually rotated to the top of the key.
Yes,
which killed it because he at the beginning of the play he had the angle, but then Hart moved to the top of the key, and he
isn't that the shot that Hart hit to beat Cleveland though?
Yes.
Right. So
yes, I might rotate to the top of the key also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying Brunson is perfect. That turnover was
right. Exactly.
That turnover was on him, and hopefully he's lost a few over it, and he's ready.
I'm sure it's killing him.
No, he ain't.
I'm sure it's killing him.
He was preparing me. He was preparing his big day. He was getting married, so he ain't lose no sleep over it.
Yeah.
But De La Cruz, you don't think this is because of the position that he plays? Randle ranks higher as a power forward than Brunson ranks as a point guard. I can easily name 4 to 5 point guards better than Brunson off the top of my head. I'd have to think hard to find better power forwards than Randle, but that may have to do with the depth of the position, though, across the league.
Right.
I mean, you got to.
But nobody said Brunson was a top 5 point guard.
Right. We're just saying he's the best of our team. Right.
Right. Exactly. Because in my book too, he's 11 best. No, he's 11 highest paid point guard. So that clearly tells you he's not the number 1 point guard in the league, but he's a top 15. And he showed you in Dallas, and he showed you in New York.
I'm not trading Brunson. I'm not trading Brunson for no other point guard right now.
Me either.
Yeah, we solidified the spot, Anthony D.
Unless you consider Luka a point guard.
No, and I don't.
Nah, me either. To be honest,
I don't consider Luka a point guard. Point forward, maybe, but not.
I think people still sleeping on. Well, 2 things, and this is my dig at Ajay. Some people don't put a lot of emphasis on the playoffs. You know, the regular season is just as important as the playoffs. So if you perform in the regular season and you fizzle out in the playoffs, and I'm not saying Randle fizzled out at all, you're still great because you played in the playoffs. And there are some of us who put a lot of emphasis on the playoffs. And there are some people who are still caught up in Brunson's height and his lack of speed and how he doesn't pass the ball enough and he doesn't get enough assists. People are wrapped up in how a player does it instead of when they do it. People are wrapped up in skill sets instead of making it happen. And there's a distinction there for me.
If there's a concern, Queen, that I have is that he's a small guy. historically small guys don't have long runs. So it would be wise, it would behoove them to capitalize in his immediate prime. And to get, the other caller that called in, you think the Knicks are going to go to the finals? Hey, if they do with this team, I'm right there with you. I don't think this is a finals team.
No, I don't think so. Not as presently constructed.
I don't think this is a finals team. And the feelings that we feel for this player or that player is really, it should only go to one place. It should only go to the desk of management. As I said, last year going into the playoffs, like every year somebody gets hurt. There's always going to be that dynamic in the going into the playoffs. There's always going to be like a way for you to take advantage of that.
Right.
The Knicks weren't, Hart wasn't the only move that could have been made at the trading deadline. If you're really keeping it 100%, if you were really going to go for it, Hart wasn't the only move.
Apparently, they're waiting for the right move, and I'm not quite sure.
And that's the problem. Summer, okay, wait till winter. Winter, wait till summer again. That's the problem.
Yeah.
When do you take a shot? Me, if I'm there last year trading deadline, I don't care. Toronto could have held me up hostage. I would have gotten Van Fleet. Hook or crook. Hook or crook. They could have held me hostage for everything. I would have cashed in my chips right there.
For Van Vliet, even though you have Brunson?
You better believe it. Because why? What happened when Brunson was off the court? You couldn't get into offense.
Jesus. It was like high school.
Not get into offense.
To me, I think that comes with inexperience, because you got to think, Anthony D, you're going against Spoelstra, and Spoelstra was blitzing, bro. IQ didn't understand. Some of these players understand this their first time.
Okay, so
like Grimes and
if I had Van Fleet, that alleviates that problem.
We definitely need another guard. Whether it's another point guard, another handler next to Brunson is needed.
Yeah.
That was very apparent in that Miami series.
Yeah, you could see it. You could see it. So I mean, what if you see like how we got Giovincenzo now? So we got a steady person that understands playoff pressure, how to handle pressure in those fourth quarter moments. So imagine you got him, Grimes, Dante, with Randle and JB and Mitch.
I mean,
you know what I mean? The closeout will be good, if you could close it out. But I'm just saying though, it's just the fact that we could just substitute quickly and put him in as far as defense, if it comes to that point in the playoff where we get that far, that we have experienced players now that can handle pressure, especially from a coach from like Spoelstra.
I hear what you're saying, Stapha, but what I think Anthony D is saying is, why we gotta wait for Grimes, we gotta wait for IQ, we gotta hope DiVincenzo can beat out Grimes, and can we got the assets and the players to go out and get bona fide players who already proven themselves in the league. And I get what you're saying. Our guys should be better next season. But it's really, and this could be another topic for this Cram to understand you in terms of the front office, waiting for the right player, those of us who want to stand pat, and the rest of the fan base who wants to make a move. I think anybody connected to the Knicks, there's some risk. There's no perfect player the Knicks are going to be able to trade for. It's going to be a salary issue. It's going to be an injury issue. It's going to be they soft issue when it comes to. I don't think there's a perfect person for the Knicks to trade for. All right,
That's what a playoff win gets you. It gets you patience and understanding.
Right. Let me get to some of these. Shaw Legacy Queen, did we ever see Brunson be this impactful without an all-star level partner next to him? Luka and Randle double teams definitely plays a fact. Listen, when I say KD is the best player on Phoenix, I'm not taking anything away from Devin Booker or Bradley Beal. When I say Luka is the best player on Dallas, I'm not taking anything away from Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is a good player in his own right. So when I say Brunson is the best player on the team, I'm not taking anything away from Julius Randle. Both of those guys played off of each other. Both of those guys created space for each other. I get you, you're right. But in the playoffs, Brunson was basically alone many of games in the playoffs, particularly in that Miami series, particularly in game 6, and he made it happen. So you guys that keep focusing on the regular season. Do you not believe that the playoffs says something? And at least admit that because Julius Randle was injured, the jury is out. I can get that. You know, hey, Steph, Randle could have been just as effective. It's just that his ankle was injured. I mean, listen, I can't argue with you, but the playoffs mean something. You see Brunson is every man. You see a guy like they're 5'11", can't even. I don't know if he could beat me up the court, and he's out there, balling out. I don't know.
Right.
But did you even hear how Coach Spoelstra was just raving about him after in his press conference?
Right. And in the playoffs, Brunson did it without Luka and Randle before.
There you go.
He did it without Luka and Randle. Randle will be better than Brunson this season. Nobody is sleeping on Randle, and I don't even care if Randle has a better season than Brunson this year. I don't care.
That's not the point.
Right.
Well, what's going to happen in the playoffs? I don't care about the regular season.
I don't care about the regular season. Just get me to the playoffs.
Randle could be MVP this season. I don't even care. Because there's been many MVPs who flamed out in the playoffs. I don't care about the regular season. I don't care.
Was that a shot at Joel Embiid?
It was.
I've seen MVPs flame out in the playoffs.
She gonna say it ain't, but it is.
That's a fact. That's a fact, man.
I've seen it, and I'm not taking anything away from Julius Randle. He's played 15 playoff games. I think he'll get better the more games he has, and
By the way, that 15 playoff games that you've mentioned several times here.
Yes.
Game 1 in the next playoffs, it expires. Game 1 in the next playoffs. That 15 playoffs, game 1 next playoffs, that is expired.
Once he's healthy,
it becomes 16.
No, it expires then, because this would have been his 3rd playoffs. We're not gonna keep doing that. We're not gonna keep.
He has to be healthy with no excuses, Anthony.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that for him neither. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna do that 2 years in a row. Because the very truth of it, if you now want to go topsy-turvy with it, everybody is injured. Brunson was injured going into the playoffs. Okay? Brunson. People seem to forget that. Brunson was hobbling. Brunson was hobbling on his ankle.
You're right.
And Brunson is not 6'9", chiseled out of granite. Right? Brunson just got what? Just got what? Heart. Okay? And came out balling. So, I was nice to Julius. Don't let me go back on Julius. Don't let me revisit the crime.
I mean,
revisit the crime scene.
This is what
bloody.
This is what the show is about. Shout out to Trap B, Ryan. I appreciate it. I wouldn't care because I'm over the regular season. Like I just feel like for me, I'm in championship mode. What is the front office gonna do so that we can become championship contenders?
Right.
You know, if Randle becomes an MVP, that's super great. Super great for him. Are you gonna play like that when the playoffs come around? See that like I'm past the accolades. I'm past the all-stars and the all NBAs, and I'm past it. I'm past it. I'm about winning a chip. And none of that guarantees you that. That's just where I'm at. And I'm not taking anything away from Randle. He played lights out for us. I'm not taking anything away from him. For me, what are you doing in the postseason? That's just where I'm at.
Yeah, man.
Queen,
Trust me.
can
We
I ask you
want to see. We want to see results. Go
can I
ahead.
ask a question, Queen?
Yep.
So do you want a guy who, like Randle, play regular season? You don't know what you're gonna get from him in the playoffs, or like RJ Barrett, who does nothing in the regular season, show up in the playoffs? What do you want?
Did he really show up in the playoffs though?
No, not really. But let's pretend he did. Let's let's say he balls out in the playoffs, but he does nothing in the regular season. Pick your poison, Queen.
The playoffs.
Playoffs.
Wow.
Of
The playoffs.
Of course.
But how do you make it to the playoffs with that guy playing that?
Well, maybe it's other people on the team that
Right.
can get you there.
Same way RJ got there.
Right.
It wasn't because of him.
You know, so I mean, listen, if you guys are happy with Randle taking you to the playoffs and not performing in the playoffs, I'm not pushing back on that. Good for you. I'm just saying for me, if you're gonna ball out in the regular season, I need you to ball out in the playoffs. Now he was injured. Next season, hopefully he won't be. We shall see.
Paris Duggar, you talking all that trash in the chat. Call up.
Or
Bring your smoke. You calling the man paper tiger and all these things, right? Come and explain yourself, right? He's no good. He's this, he's that. This is the time to express yourself. We want to hear from you. 347-309-7127.
And the
Call
link,
up.
hold on.
The real feelings are coming out.
The link is also pinned to the top of the chat. So you can also come on to the show, become a part of the panel for 2 or 3 or 4 minutes. And you don't even have to, you don't have to have your camera on. So if your camera shy, just come on audio and give your take. Now,
And Queen, before you go, if you don't want to call in, you don't want to support the show that way, you could hit the like button.
yes, definitely.
Because there's a lot of people in here, but only 55 likes, going up. But let's get this thing to at least 100, man. Let's get this thing to 3 digits tonight.
Right. Brooklyn, Buddha arguing Randle over Brunson might be the biggest waste of time right now. Just stop it. Randle is great, but this is Brunson's team.
I like that. I'm with that. That's a good statement.
Right.
Shout
Paris
out to Brooklyn
Duggar.
Buddha.
Yeah, Paris Duggar, come on to the to the show. And listen, I don't know. I'll just say it one more time. Saying a player is better than another player is not taking anything away from the other player. Next week we're doing RJ Barrett, so watch out for the audio podcast. Matter of fact, if there's anybody interested who wants to,
Sorry.
That's Corey Scott. I'm looking for Corey Lee. I might have to go on to Blanche Tears and ask Uncle Freezy to get in touch with Corey Lee. He's a big RJ Barrett fan, and then pick somebody who's not feeling RJ Barrett that much. But I need somebody that's going to come on and say more than I don't like RJ Barrett. We need to trade him. Like I need some articulation, like why and what is it about him, and I need that type of conversation.
The new power forward, RJ Barrett.
Anthony's on that train, boy.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's on the second unit though, man. You know, I mean, Anthony can make it look like the man gonna start the whole 82 at power forward, bro. Come on now.
If Randle get hurt, who's starting power forward?
I need to understand who's
No, well,
brain-
that's why we have the insurance at
brainchild.
night. That's why we have the insurance at night, and I guess Roby, whoever his name is, but I'll more go with
Josh
night.
Hart will play before either of those guys.
Can you imagine if you're RJ agent right now and the Knicks put it out there that they want your client to put on 10 pounds, put on 10 more pounds when he was already sluggish with the 10 pounds he already put on to go beat a power forward? The agent right now, I'm telling you, is having a heart attack at that suggestion.
I don't know. He's got a 4-year guaranteed contract for $20-something million. The agent's not sweating too much, boy.
There's no way RJ's happy with that suggestion.
No way.
It can't. He can't be happy with that. You done went from the 1 to the 2 to the 2 to the 3 to the 3 now to the 4.
Yeah, but he don't even look like he put on muscle though. If you look at his workouts, he don't look like he look the same RJ to me. He look like he put on no 10 pounds. He probably got stronger, but I don't think he put on that much weight.
Hey Steph, I actually gotta go.
Yes.
Salute to everybody on the panel.
10 minutes ourselves. We hour and a half.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Salute to everybody on the panel. Andy, thanks for joining us. You need to join us more often, bro.
Sure.
Salute to everybody in the chat, man. I'll catch y'all out on Thursday.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
See you then.
Yep.
All right.
We got about 10 more minutes to the show. Anybody else who wants to call into the show or hop into the panel to comment on anything that Randle. We're gonna get into RJ Barrett next week. I gotta find
RJ sucks.
Right.
Find
You might have to have Anthony back on.
Queen, find our community, our children for RJ Barrett.
Nah, I think they should choose you because you have a lot to say last year about RJ Barrett. He was this and he was that.
Yeah, but you want other people. Like I have a lot to say about Randle too.
Well, we haven't even heard you say anything. You've been quiet. So I mean, the floor is yours.
No, there are days like this. It's quiet. I like to listen sometimes.
RJ sucks.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen.
Setting the theme for next week. No, I like RJ. I
don't think he showed up in the playoffs, though. He played better in the playoffs than he played in the regular season. His counting stats were better. When he drove to the basket, it wasn't a disaster. He actually was able to see people and pass out. Like I thought his floor game was much better in the in the playoffs. Now, when you look at the advanced stats, he was still a net negative in terms of plus minus and a few other stats.
RJ, it appeared that he showed up because we lowered expectation on RJ. So when he does anything that halfway resemble NBA player stuff, so we applaud. Okay.
I don't know if that was the case. There was a game when we got out to a good start in Cleveland. I think he scored like the first 10 points. It's like he showed up for us in the playoff. Nobody showed up in Game 6 against Miami.
Oh,
yeah, but RJ sounded like he wanted to cry in the press conference.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was there.
I wanted to cry
it was again.
times after watching RJ play this year, so we'll call it even.
I like RJ, but there's just something missing. There's just something missing in his game. And it's not just the fact that he's not the most athletically gifted.
Right.
It's just not that. It's that mid-range. He's meant to have a mid-range game, and to see him not have it, it's disturbing.
It's funny that you mentioned that because that's what he's working on right now in his workout videos. If you see Drew Hamlin, whatever his name is, his trainer, that's what he's doing, working on that mid-range. So I agree with you 100%.
I don't
if
watch
he could,
workout
if he
videos
could,
anymore.
no, but I'm just saying though, if he's working on it and he has it in his arsenal, just what you're saying, that's missing. We need that. That's what I'm saying. I know you don't believe in the workout videos, fine. But I'm just saying, if
I don't
he's
believe.
working on that and that could be effective for him and effective to elevate the team some more and win more games, I am all with it.
But he
Let's
was
see.
working on them same moves last summer.
Yeah, let's see.
And the summer
Same
before.
workout video. I think they just replayed it.
They put it on. They put it on replay. They
Yo,
dusted.
Quinn.
They dusted
Yo,
off his. They dusted off
yo.
Mitchell Robinson's. Because Mitch is a summer workout warrior himself on video.
But I don't understand. Mitch got that $15 million contract and he's still working out in the local gym. Like now you should be able to, every time you see him, he's in a rec center playing pickup. Like I'm like, you make enough money, I would think now, to hire a team to help you. Maybe he is, and they just not posting those videos.
I seen one or two by himself, he on the beach running and stuff.
Stapha should be your new video coordinator. He can coordinate all of the Knicks summer videos.
The workout.
No, listen, I'm just looking to see. Listen, that's what they're putting out. That's what they say they're working on now. When the season come, I expect to see some type of form of mid-range from RJ. I'm not going to even lie to you, bro. If that's what your trainer is working with you, and you could perfect it to perfection where it's effective for you, I want to see it, bro. You said that. You yourself said it just now. That's what's missing, a mid-range. I want to see it. I want to see it in the regular season. I want to see it be effective for the team.
Does that mean he's giving up on the 3-pointer?
Look, if that's to make him much better, more efficiently, why not? Follow DeRozan. DeRozan is not a splendid 3-point shooter, but mid-range footwork, come on now. If he could develop some type of footwork with the mid-range, that's even more wicked.
This is a preview for next Tuesday's show when we'll be doing the same format, talking about RJ Barrett. I just pinned the newsletter to the top. I do a weekly newsletter, so my thoughts on Julius Randle and some other stuff was actually in the newsletter. I'll do the same thing for RJ Barrett, but I think I might have to drop a video for RJ Barrett. I just have so much to say. I just think the newsletter will be too long.
The title is RJ a bust.
Lord.
It's RJ a
that.
I know, right?
Get it spicy. Get it spicy. Is
that
RJ
might be
a bust?
The title for next week's chat show.
Tsunami will come back in a tidal wave force.
With a quick.
No doubt about it. All right, so this edition is coming to a close. I'm taking note that Paris Duggar was invited to jump out of the chat, show to give his opinion and chose not to. I also would have liked to have heard from Sherwin, but I get it. It's all it's all cool. No disrespect. Quiet Money, Trav B. Ryan, anybody else. We agree to disagree, but it's all love. We all fam. But yeah, watch out for those 2 audio podcasts that's going to drop. One for RJ Barrett, one not so much for RJ Barrett. Watch out for the newsletter. Subscribe to that. If you want to listen to, if you haven't already, the podcast with Stapha Don for Julius Randle, Anthony D, not so much for Julius Randle. You can wherever you stream your podcast from, Apple, Spotify, whatever the other ones are, the Just Nicking It podcast, you'll be able to get those shows. Paris Duggar said he's in a car. All right, okay. No.
You want me to pay for the trip?
We get it. Any last words before we get out of here?
Anthony and Stapha Don, great job. Those 2 podcasts were awesome. Y'all were very articulate. I love listening to the nuance of both of your positions. That kind of surprised me. So good on both of y'all. And Steph, always a gracious host as always, but really quality stuff. If you haven't had a chance to look at it yet, or listen to it yet, rather, take the time out of your schedule. Really worthwhile, in my opinion.
Both of the podcast links are in the description, and I added your name, Stapha Don, to the title.
I appreciate it. Yeah, and I want to say, great job on the newsletter. I didn't exactly get to read it when it just came out, but I read it today. It was very informative. I love that I never know that you were dealing with mental health and wellness. So, that's good to know something about you, and you love to travel. I saw your picture in Africa. That's what's up. Yeah. And I read it. So just keep writing. I'm expecting it every Monday. And when I get a chance, I'm gonna read it. So anybody that didn't read it, go ahead and take a read. It's a good look into Steph's personality, I should say. Yeah. Right. And of course the thoughts on Julius Randle. So thanks for even having me. It's always a pleasure being on the panel with everyone. Gerald, not Gerald, but yes, Gerald, Godfrey, Anthony D,
Jeffrey
Clefter.
Jeffrey Clefter. RJ, and you already know Queen and the chat. Without y'all, we couldn't have this show. Y'all make it much interesting and interacting. Absolutely. And we could go back and forth to agree to disagree but with one goal in mind. That's a championship for New York. So appreciate y'all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to say anything? The newsletter is pinned to the top of the chat. So I took down the link to the show, and now I pinned the newsletter. So if you're interested in the newsletter, it's pinned to the top of the chat. And Delusional Knick fan said he's still mad at me on the Melo retirement podcast episode. Yeah, but you're right. You're right. But you got to admit, when we did the live show, I was a bit more thoughtful on my comments on Melo, the Knicks, possibly retiring his jersey. You're right. I was a little.
Put some respect on Carmelo Anthony's name.
Yeah. He's one of my favorite players. I followed him when he went to Portland. I stayed up late to watch him. But retirement, that's another level.
It is. I wouldn't retire Melo's jersey.
It
makes a good. You know what? It makes a good conversation. Because Melo, people are never gonna let it go how Melo got here.
Right.
They're always gonna see the glass as being half empty instead of half full when he got here.
Right.
Is what you do when you get a star.
Right, and it comes back. It comes back to the front office. We can do an entire. Basically, when we talk about the Knicks standing pat, as opposed to taking a risk, basically that show was about the front office. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one. But RJ Barrett is up next. All right. Until next time.
Night. Ding,
Good night.
Until you tune in, that means you're feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. Hit that. The like button would tell me where you at. Step from the